What is the biggest regret of your life?
Not trying in high school. I fucked off, and unfortunately, it set up the rest of my life working a lower wage job. Both of my brothers are doing well with houses and kids. I am working my ass off and living paycheck to paycheck. Have you looked at going into a trade? My husband was like that in high school. Barely graduated, but decided a few years after to go into heating, ventilation, and air conditioning, HVAC. That was like 12 years ago, and he makes six figures now and actually enjoys what he does. Hey man, it is never too late. I nearly flunked out of high school. Never did college for the longest time. Ended up taking community college classes, all paid for by financial aid because my income was terrible, like yours. Transferred to university and graduated debt-free, which none of my friends who went to college at 18 to 22 can say for themselves. I am on track to make six figures a year soon. Forgiving the first affair. How many were there? 2. 15 years apart and with the same person. The best part is that her affair partner was in jail the 15 years between the affairs, and they got back together right after he was eased. I could write a book. Pretty much. I had been doing it for years and years. First in a codependent relationship and marriage, and then with friends afterwards during the grieving and separation phase. I kept trying to make other people happy and hide huge parts of myself. I then had a huge period of reflection and life reassessing and ended up confronting some of my new, very close friends about things that they had done that had made me super uncomfortable. Complicated stuff, but you know. I got discarded without them even acknowledging me. I realized not many people ever really try to consider anyone else. I was quite a rarity. You don't get any credit for any of the effort it takes. And even though losing those friendships hurt, holy shit, I felt so much better having said all the stuff, rather than just swallowing it and moving on quietly. So I realized, fuck it. I am sinking immense energy into managing other people's feelings and keeping them comfortable and happy, and restricting myself from actually expressing myself in any way that matters to me. If it makes me too much for a bunch of people, good. Filter them out before I make the mistake of investing too much hope or care into them. Keep the better ones. I regret every mean thing I ever said. About 25 years ago, I was holding the hand of an old friend when she died. My kind words were the last thing she heard. And since then, I have been aware that what you say to someone might be the last thing they hear. I became a hospice volunteer after that.
There was this woman I met on my way home from work. At the time, my office was business casual, and so I dressed in button-down shirts and khakis. Very much not my normal look. I am a jeans and hoodie guy. We were sitting on the same bench waiting for the light rail. We got to talking. She insulted my clothes, and I told her it was just a costume. As we crossed the bridge, she talked about the dark thoughts she had on bridges and how they scared her. She was interesting and real in a way too many of the people I would meet weren't. I was seeing someone at the time, so I didn't pursue the obvious spark. She gave me a piece of her artwork. I still have it. That was over a decade ago. The woman I had been seeing didn't last. Unrelated to me meeting the other woman. I don't know, maybe she would have wrecked me. Maybe she would have been the love of my life. I don't even remember her name. I have a daughter, and at the time she was young, and I had child support and wanted to be in her life, so I played a lot of things safe back then. I wish I had taken more risks back then. I am 45 and still single. I am not sad or depressed about being single, but life has been boring for a while, and I am pretty sure with her it wouldn't have been. I am going to go out on a limb here and say yes, she absolutely would have wrecked you. When I think of regrets, the only one that comes to mind is that I had a best friend in college and I was so in love with her. But I never said anything because I was afraid it would ruin our friendship. Because she was always telling me about guy friends of hers who would confess their love and then she would dump them. But we were so close. We each dated people off and on over the years. Then after I left school and we had gone our separate ways, many years later I confessed that I had been so in love with her, and she replied, "Oh my God, me too. I was hopelessly in love with you. So, I guess he who dares wins, and he who daren't winsn't." Now she is married with 2 kids, and I am divorced and have no kids and 3 money. Giving my childhood to looking after my unwell siblings. I am going to be 28 this year and I am exhausted. I have been the nurse, taxi, mother, father, cook, maid, shopper for over 10 years. Caring is so fucking exhausting. I am done. Just done.
I know a very smart and capable woman who actually had both parents growing older, a mentally disabled brother, a sister who was mentally well and just had many physical ailments, and a brother who is fine. The responsibility of taking care of the two sick ones fell all onto her. They are all now in their 50s and 60s and still relying on her for the most innocuous things. Her dad passed, so now she is in charge of her own mom too. She never got to marry, never got to have children of her own, is constantly berated by her sister for not doing things well enough. This lady cries very often, regretting her life and the way things turned out for her. She wishes out loud she could just stop being a crutch to everyone. I am glad you are getting out. You are your own highest responsibility. Not taking care of my health sooner. About 5 or so years ago, I had a sudden drop in libido and basically just interest in life. I chalked it up to a traumatic brain injury I had sustained in a motor vehicle accident a couple of years before that. But that drop in libido was bad, and it affected my relationships, specifically with a close partner. I ended it abruptly instead of talking with her and seeking help, or even just telling her how I felt. That it wasn't her, but I was embarrassed. She subsequently moved on. I finally went to see a doctor because there was no way I should be feeling like this while so young. What it ended up being was low testosterone, severely low. I am on medication now and I am hoping to get back to feeling normal, but I lost out on what would have been something amazing with someone special. She is still in my life, but just as a friend.